Grace and peace to you, friends. Welcome to the Oak Tree Journeys. My name is Mandy Oaks, and this is the Encyclopedia Challenge. What is the Encyclopedia Challenge, you may ask? That's a great question. The Encyclopedia Challenge is where I read the entire encyclopedia to you in bite-sized chunks. And we're reading from two different encyclopedias. One is the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary of 1909, and the second is the Encyclopedia Americana of 1956. And if you want to hear about the preface, I did read the preface of both of these encyclopedias. You can go to my website, theoaktreejourneys.com, and click on Encyclopedia Challenge. Again, that's theoaktreejourneys.com, and in the Encyclopedia Challenge, you will see not only the preface of both of these encyclopedias, but also any of the words that you've missed, links to the podcasts, links to the YouTube videos. We even have bonus videos. Right now we have two bonus videos. One is under Encyclopedia Challenge, and the second one is under bonuses. And we are going to have another bonus video, speaking of bonuses. Before I get to that, though, I do have an announcement to make. In fact, two. One, thank you so much for those of you who have asked about my foot. It is healing. It's still swollen, but it's healing. I still can't run on it yet. Of course, it's just been a few days, but I'm anxious to get out and run. But it is healing. Thank you for asking. And two, starting today, we are just going to have one main podcast per week. I'm sorry about that for those of you who enjoyed listening every single day. It's just not doable right now. I am going to miss it. I do love reading the encyclopedia every single day. But we are still going to have weekly Encyclopedia Challenge sessions and plus any bonus videos. Now, to the bonus. For those of you who this is your first time listening, the next bonus video is going to be a deeper dive into some of the words that we've already been through, or if it's a word that you are anxious to hear about or learn about, then we're going to go into that too. Right now, we're still in the A's. So we've got three from the A's. We have Abbotsford, subsidiary rings, and abnormal psychology, and those are starred on my website, theoaktreejourneys.com, under Encyclopedia Challenge. Now, the deeper dive is going to go beyond the two encyclopedias that we've already got. I'll go to multiple sources, other books, blogs if I need to, Google searches, may even go to Wikipedia. Not sure yet, but we'll see. We'll see where the deep dive takes us. I'm very anxious about it. I love these. I love learning about words, and I hope you do too. If you don't love learning about words, then you probably wouldn't be here, right? So, but yeah, if you have a word that you want to take a closer look at, hit me up. If you're on YouTube, put a comment below the video. Let me know what word it is. If you're on the podcast, you'll need to go to theoaktreejourneys.com and select comments or contact me and let me know the word that you want us to take a look at. When we have 5 or more words, that's when we'll do the deeper dive bonus video. So I'm very excited about that, as well as I am also excited about today's episode because it is going to be a little longer than normal. We're going to try to get through a total of 46 words. Yes, you heard me right, 46 words. We're going to try to go through 21 before the break. I know that's ambitious, but I'm very, very excited. And since we're going to be doing this once a week, I feel like we can do more words. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes and where this takes us. But without keeping you waiting any longer, let's start with the word ACASTUS. So that's ACASTUS. And before break, we're going to go from ACASTUS to accident and then hopefully after break, accidental colors through a courage. So these are amazing, amazing words in here. So let's get right down to it. Now we are starting with the Encyclopedia Americana of 1956 because the name, this isn't just a word, but it's a name, ACASTUS, is not in the 1909 New Imperial, I don't know why I always say that, New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary. So let's take a look at who ACASTUS is. In Greek mythology, the son of Peleus and the father of Laomedon, he participated in the Caledonian boar hunt and in the expedition of the Argonauts. And to revenge the death of his father, dethroned Jason, king of Iolcus. His wife, Astademia, fell in love with Peleus, who had taken refuge with Estes. But since Peleus spurned her advances, she accused him of improper conduct to her husband. Does that sound familiar to those of you who read the Bible? While Peleus and ACASTUS were hunting on Mount Pelion, Peleus fell asleep, and ACASTUS, first removing Peleus's wonderful sword, left him alone in the wilderness. Chiron, however, rescued Peleus, who then returned and killed ACASTUS and Astademia. So he just went and just killed them both, didn't he? Alright, so that is ACASTUS from the Encyclopedia Americana of 1956. So let's take a look at our next word, and for that word, we need to go to the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary. And that word is a catalytic. That's a catalytic, and it is an adverb. It means not halting short, without defect. And in poetry, a verse having the complete number of syllables. So that's a catalytic. So next word is a catar, or cater, which is a noun, or a attributor, which is also a noun, and it means a purchase. In Old English, it's a purveyor. Acates, noun, plural. Provisions, dainties. So it's dainties. Ooh. Okay. And the next word is a cowless. It's an adverb, and it means applied. It's in botany, applied to a plant without a visible stalk, stemless. A caulescent, adverb, having no stem, a callus. Okay. And next word is a Kayakon, which is a town of Mexico, a military port about 100 miles south-southeast of Veracruz, having trade in cochineal. Population is 6,000, or it was in the early 1900s or late 1800s. Okay, and the next word, we're going to look to see what it says in the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary, and then actually go to the Encyclopedia Americana to get the full definition, which there is a lot more to it than just what it says here. It's a cod. It just says Ancient Babylonia. That's all it says in the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary. So let's turn to the Encyclopedia Americana. And let's see, I had it marked, and it looks like I unmarked it. Okay, so a cod, and that could be spelled two different ways. The main way it says is A as in apple, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, A as in apple, D as in dad. Or A as in apple, K as in kite, K as in kite, A as in apple, D as in dad. Okay, and it says the northern division of Babylonia as distinguished from summer or southern Babylonia. Akkad was well located commercially, and the nomadic Semitic peoples who came to the region during the 4th and 3rd millenniums BC soon became prosperous through trade. Akkad reached its greatest height when Sargon I, in the middle of the 3rd millennium BC, united the several city-states of Akkad, conquered the Sumerian peoples, and extended his power from the mountains of Elam to the shores of the Mediterranean Sea and into Asia Minor, the first great empire in history. After Sargon's conquests, the Akkadians adopted a more settled mode of existence, taking over many aspects of Sumerian culture, such as the calendar, weights and measures, cuneiform script, numerals, business methods, sculpture, and crafts. Following the fall of Sargon's dynasty, a joint nation of Sumer and Akkad controlled the Babylonian region for about 3 centuries. The Akkadian language, a Semitic tongue related to Hebrew and Arabic, was adopted to the spoken and written language of a wide area. The region of Akkad received its name from the royal city of Akkad, usually known as Agad, which was still flourishing in the days of Nebuchadnezzar about 1125 BC. The city of Akkad is mentioned in Genesis 10:10. The exact site of the city is unknown, although it was near Sippor, about 30 miles north of Babylon. So there we go. We got a lot more information from there than we did the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary. Okay, so let's go back to the New Imperial Encyclopedia and Dictionary of 1909. And the next word is accede, which is a verb or a seed. It means to agree to the proposal or request of another, to comply, acceding, acceded, synonym of accede, to assent, yield, acquiesce, agree, coincide, concur, that's my favorite word, concur, comply, conform, consent, accord. Okay. And the next word is, I've practiced this several times. It's a word for music. So all of you musicians out there, please forgive me. Let's see here. Accelerando. Just say accelerando. Okay. With gradually increasing velocity or movement. Okay. Accelerate, verb, to add swiftness to quicken, to hasten, to cause to move faster, to bring on before its time as fruit, accelerating, accelerated, acceleration. The act of increasing speed or motion, the act of hastening, accelerative, also acceleratory, quickening, hastening, accelerator, he who or that which accelerates or hastens, synonym of accelerate, to expedite, quicken, urge, instigate, hasten, speed, dispatch. Okay. And to go with accelerate is accelerated motion. And this is, we're going to see it in 3 different ways. The first one is in mechanics, the second one is of the moon, and the third one is of the fixed stars. So in mechanics, it is motion in which the velocity is continually increasing. When the increments of velocity are equal in equal times, the motion is said to be uniformly accelerated. The best example of such a motion is that of a falling body. This is where it gets a little complicated, at least for me. Let's see here. It is found that near the Earth's surface, a body descending from a static state of rest falls 16 1/12 feet in the first second. Now, a little consideration will show that at the end of the first second, it is moving at the rate of 32 1/6 feet per second. For since the velocity was nothing at first and increased uniformly, 16 1/12 feet must have been the mean velocity, i.e. the velocity at the middle of the time, and therefore the velocity at the end must be double, or 32 1/6 feet by 32 1/6 feet, is thus the measure of the accelerative force of gravity. At the end of the second and third seconds, the velocity is found to be doubled, trebled, etc., and it does say trebled, or 64 1/3, 96 1/2 feet. Okay, so that's in mechanics. So accelerated motion of the moon. This is acceleration of the moon. It was observed first by Halley that at the time of the moon's revolution around the Earth has for several thousand years been decreasing, or her velocity has been increasing. This phenomenon remained for a considerable time inexplicable. At last, Laplace, in 1787, discovered the cause in the varying eccentricity of the Earth's orbit, which has been on the decrease since about 12,000 years BC. Since that time, the moon has been gradually coming nearer to the Earth, and this will go on till 36,900 after Christ, when the eccentricity of the Earth's orbit will begin again to increase. Okay, so acceleration of the fixed stars is the excess of a mean solar day over a sidereal day, i.e. a day measured by the transits of a star over the meridian. The excess is about 3 feet 56.5 inches sidereal time, or sidereal time. Okay, and remember, if there's anything here that you want to do a deeper dive on, such as acceleration of the fixed stars or of the moon or in mechanics or anything that we've already gone over, please let me know. It would be interesting, just kind of throwing it out there, to know what the new information is over these fixed stars and the moon. Okay, just throwing that out there. All right, and the next word is extendable, which is an adverb. It means capable of being inflamed or kindled. Extendability, noun. Okay. All right, and next word is accent, and there are 3 different definitions of accent. So the first one is a noun, that which is sung with energy, the stress or force of voice put upon a syllable or word, the mark indicating the same manner of speaking, language, or words. Accent, verb, accentuate, verb, to pronounce a word of syllable with a particular stress or force of voice. Accenting, accented, accentuating, accentuated, accentor. In music, one who leads. Accentual, relating to accent. Accentuation, the placing accents on syllables, the act of pronouncing words and syllables properly. Accent in grammar, so here's the second definition in grammar, a special stress of voice upon one syllable of a word by which it is made more prominent than the rest. The accented syllable is sometimes indicated by a mark as a way fortify. Every word in English has one syllable thus brought markedly into notice. When the accented syllable falls near the end of a long word, there may be one or more secondary accents, as in recommend, subordination. Sometimes these are so slightly marked as to be scarcely traceable. Accent depends upon force of vocal or articulative effort, not upon highness or lowness of pitch. Variations of pitch produce what locutionists call inflection. The confounding of accent with a rise of tone and the contrasting of it with a sinking of tone has produced confusion on the subject, especially as regards the accents of the ancients. In English, many nouns are converted into verbs simply by transposing the accent as object or object. It is accent, not quantity, that determines English measures or meters in versification. No rule can be given as to what syllable of a word shall be accented. There is a tendency in our language to throw the accent towards the beginning of words. Emphasis is to sentences what accent is to words. It is a stress upon one word of a sentence to make it prominent. If accent is symbolic, emphasis is logical accent. Okay. Wow, that just seemed like a tongue twister there. Okay, so the third definition of accent is actually in music. Analogues with accent in language consists of a stress or emphasis given to certain notes or parts of bars in a composition and may be divided into 2 kinds, grammatical and rhetorical or aesthetic. The first kind of accent is perfectly regular in its occurrence, always falling on the first part of a bar. It is true that long or compound measures of time have, besides the chief accent in every bar, some subordinate accents, but these are only slightly marked. As a rule, the grammatical or regular accent should be marked only so far as to give a clear sense of rhythm. The aesthetical accent is irregular and depends on taste and feeling, exactly as does the accent and emphasis used in oratory. In vocal music, well adapted to words, the words serve as a guide to the use of aesthetical accents. Okay, and our next word is accept, a verb, to take what is offered, to agree or consent to acknowledge or promise to pay as a bill, accepting, accepted, acceptor, acceptor, one who accepts, acceptable, pleasing or gratifying to a receiver, agreeable in person or by services, welcome, acceptably, in an acceptable manner, acceptableness, acceptability, quality of being acceptable, acceptance, the receiving with approval a written promise or an engagement to pay money at a specified date, also called a bill of exchange, the meaning or sense of a word as generally understood, acceptor, the person who gives a written promise to pay money, acceptation, reception, the meaning or sense in which a word or expression is generally understood, to accept service in law, to agree between parties that a legal writ or process has been formally served when such has not been the case. Synonym of accept, to receive, take, admit. Okay, and with accept comes acceptance. In contracts, an agreement to be bound by a proposition which has been offered. To complete the contract, the acceptance must be absolute and past recall. Acceptance may be express, as in the case where the party to be bound openly declares it, or implied, as where the party acts as if he had accepted. The offer and acceptance must be by some means understood by both parties, and this may be by language, symbolical, oral, or in writing, as deaf and dumb persons may contract either by symbolical or written language, and at auction sales a nod or wink and the knocking down of a hammer may legally complete the contract. Acceptance in a bill of exchange. The acceptance of a bill of exchange is the act by which the drawee or other person conveys his assent or intention to comply with and be bound by the request contained in the bill of exchange to pay the same, or in other words, it is an engagement to pay the bill when due. The acceptance must be made by the drawee himself or by some one authorized by him, and such drawee must have capacity to contract and to bind himself to pay the amount of that bill. A bill may either be accepted at the time or before or after it is drawn. When the bill is presented, the drawee must accept within 24 hours, or it should be treated as dishonored. On refusal to accept, even within the 24 hours, it should be protested. The acceptance may, however, be made after the time appointed for its payment. An acceptance may be in writing on the bill itself or on another paper, or it may be verbal. Acceptance also may be express, a positive undertaking to pay, or implied, where the agreement to pay is to be inferred by any acts of the drawee, as if he writes seen, presented, or the day upon which it becomes due upon the bill. This, until otherwise explained, will constitute an acceptance. An acceptance may be either absolute, conditional, or partial. An absolute acceptance is a positive agreement to pay the bill according to its tenure, and is usually made by writing upon it accepted, and subscribing the drawee's name, or by either writing his name at the bottom or across the bill. In order to bind another than the drawee, it is essential that his name should appear. Acceptance, conditional acceptance, is one which will subject the drawee or acceptor to the payment of the money on a contingency. The holder is not bound to receive such an acceptance, but if he do receive it, he is bound by its terms. A partial acceptance is one which varies from the tenor of the bill, either in agreeing to pay only a part of the sum for which the bill is drawn, or to pay at a different time or at a different place. Okay, wow. What a long definition. Okay, and the next word is access. So let me get some water before we go on to access. Okay, there we go. That's better. Access. Noun. Admission to, approach, or means of approach, and increase. Accessible. That may be approached, affable. Accessibly, accessibility. The quality of being accessible. Ascension, noun, an increase, an addition, an arriving at, that which is added, the acquisition of authority, the coming to the throne of a king. Accession, additional, accessorial, relating to necessary, accessory, aiding in doing something or privy to it, additional, anything additional, one that aids or gives countenance to a crime, accessorily, accessoriness, the state of being accessory, accession to the crown, the act of coming into possession of sovereign power, synonym of accession, augmentation, increase, addition, enlargement. Okay, accessory or accessory. See, in criminal law, one who is not the chief actor in a felony, nor even present at its perpetration, but who is in some way concerned either before or after the fact committed. An accessory before the fact is one who procures or counsels another to commit a crime, he himself being absent. An accessory after the fact is a person who, knowing a felony to have been committed, receives, protects, or assists the felon. In sudden and unpremeditated offenses, there can be no accessories before the fact, and in all crimes under the degree of felony, there are no accessories at all, either before or after the fact, but all persons concerned therein are held to be equally guilty as principals. Presence and actual participation are necessary to constitute a person and an accessory. The mere fact of presence or failure to interfere to prevent the commission of a crime is not alone an indicatable offense. The person must act in concert with the active party. There are no accessories in treason, but all are principals, on account of the heinousness of the crime. Okay, so the next word is ascension in law, property. The ownership of a thing, whether it be real or personal, movable or immovable, carries with it the right to all products of the thing and to all that becomes united to it, either naturally or artificially. This is called the right of accession. The doctrine of property arising from accession is grounded on the right of occupancy. The original owner of anything which receives an accession by natural or artificial means, as by the gradual addition to the lands by deposit from rivers, the growth of vegetables, the pregnancy of animals, the embroidering of cloth, or the conversion of wood or metal into vessels or utensils, is entitled to his right of possession to the property of it under such its state of improvement, but the owner must be able to prove the identity of the original materials. See alluvion in law, international law. Accession in international law is the absolute or conditional acceptance by one or several states of a treaty already concluded between other sovereignties. Okay, and it looks like we have two more words before break, in which I will definitely need break. Okay, and the next word is a noun. It's let's see, I did practice this word too. It's acciatora. There we go. In music, and if I mess that up, I apologize. A grace note being a semitone below the note to which it is prefixed. Okay. All right, and the last word before break is, of course, accident, which is a noun. That which happens or befalls, chance, something taking place unexpectedly, an event not foreseen, a quality not essential. Accidental, happening by chance, casual. Anything non-essential, accidentally, in an accidental manner, accidentalness, accidents. A book containing the declensions and conjunctions of words, as their terminations fall from or succeed each other, applied to Latin or Greek grammars, or to any grammar, by accident, by chance, accidentally. Synonym of accident, contingency, casualty, incident, chance, of accidental, casual, incidental, contingent, fortuitous, occasional, unintentional. Okay, and if you are on YouTube, you can see the screen of the 1956, the Encyclopedia Americana, It does have a list of accidents. I'm not going to read that one because it is very, very long. But there are 2 charts showing the accidents. The one listed on the screen, and for those of you listening on the podcast, it's just basically injury rates by industries from a 3-year period of 1946 to 1948. So, and it goes through aircraft manufacturing to wood products. And it tells what the frequency rate is and the severity rate. And there's actually, as I'm flipping through here, there's actually 3 charts. But they list accidents very, very organized. And in fact, organized is in there. Organized accident prevention, or occupational accidents. They go deep into accidents. Even accidental deaths. But we won't go into that one. That was just, I just wanted to note that as a comparison. So there we go. And now it is time for break. And I will see you momentarily. Hi, I hope you enjoyed that segment from my podcast, The Oak Tree Journeys, from the Encyclopedia Challenge. To hear the entire episode, please visit the link at the bottom in the description. And please don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe and share it to anyone you know who wants to read the entire encyclopedia or who's just interested in words. Thank you again and have a blessed day.